Hello and thanks for joining me in this episode of Zulf Talks Photography Podcast. I appreciate you joining me today. We're going to have a nice, interesting episode today. We're going to look at a few things around photography and the basics and the things that we don't normally think about. I'm recording this today live as an episode for you to help you understand why photography is still relevant in this day and age, even though AI is aiming to take over, and also the basics around the tips. So I'll give you maybe 7 to 10 tips around photography, things to keep in mind, how you can save a bit of money. You don't need the latest and greatest, so sit back, relax, and let's have a look at how we can make some of your photos go famous and viral. That's a possibility using video and using photo. You can combine the two things together and talk about your essentially homework, because we're going to have a couple of ideas of things you can start doing to take photographs and make this a great day for you today. You don't need any fancy editing, any fancy programs. You don't need anything else. It's powered by trusted creators, so thank you for making this possible. You can see I still use a very old camera here, so we're going to talk about all of these settings today. Let me take the flash off this. If you're listening on the podcast, I am doing an episode today on the video podcast, so you can watch the video version of this on Spotify as well, so keep an eye out for that. And thank you for our sponsor for making this possible. This show is brought to you by trustedcreators.org with a commitment to quality and service exceptions. Check out the website trustedcreators.org, and remember, I do send out all my information to you via a newsletter, which does mean you can get everything I talked about today in a resources. To show my appreciation for you joining me here today, I would like to offer you some extra value for free. I offer a collection of free resources and help sheets that are specifically designed to help you focus on what I'm talking about today in this episode. Check out the link in the description or go to zulftalks.com. and you'll get all the resources there. It's one location with everything in that I talk about on my podcast. And to give you a visual of what that looks like if you're watching on the podcast, a visual version, zulftalks.com will bring you to my landing page here. You can simply click show resources, which is the first button, and you put your name and email, and you'll get an email directly to your inbox helping you basically with a number of things around working for yourself, photography, tips and tricks, which is mainly what I'm covering in my podcast. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode and start looking at what I can bring to the table for you to help you with your photography in 7 easy to understand tips. Photography has come a long way since the first photograph, which was taken by Joseph Nicéphore Niépce. I don't know how you say this name. Let me do a quick Google and find out how you say this name. Joseph Niépce. Let me do a quick search for you, and I'm going to find out how to say this name because I want to say the name correctly to help basically understand. Nicéphore Niépce. Joseph Nicéphore Niépce. It's a French name, so it's difficult to say for me, so apologies if I got that wrong. Joseph Nicéphore Niépce. Interesting. So let's have a further deep dive into that, shall we? Joseph Nicéphore Niépce was the first person to have his photograph taken and to find out how to say his name correctly. So the first photograph today, there are so many great camera options for beginners, such as the Canon 5D Mark II, still going strong. These cameras have advanced features like autofocus and image stabilization to help budding photographers capture stunning images. So there's no reason why you can't take photographs. AI isn't taking over at the moment, and photography has come a long way since this first photograph you can see on screen. What do you think? Can you do this? I think you can. The first photograph is always an interesting photograph. However, what can we also bring to the table? What is next on this list? There's a couple of key things to keep in mind, especially if you're thinking about photography, and there are key elements. Aperture, ISO and shutter speed are 3 key settings that photographers use to control their exposure. Aperture refers to the size of the opening in the lens, which affects the amount of light that enters the camera. ISO refers to the sensitivity of the camera's sensor to light, and shutter speed refers to the amount of time the camera's shutter is open. By adjusting these settings, photographers can achieve desired exposure of their images. So that's like an overview just to help you out. If you're worried about photography, as you do it, you'll pick up these things very easily. You'll slowly start doing it. So practice makes perfect. Have a go at it. Aperture, ISO and shutter speed is the key to success, people. Okay. Portraits. So blurring of a background will be ideal in this situation. Did you know the first color photograph was taken in 1861 by James Clerk Maxwell? You can see on screen right now. It was a photograph of the tartan ribbon. Since then, photography has evolved to the point where you can capture millions of colors with stunning accuracy. How amazing is that? We've come so far. You want to be able to show and share what you've taken. So make sure you're taking photographs with your phone, your mobile phone, your smartphone, even DSLRs or whatever you're using, and just look back at where we were and where we've come to. You can do it. Full faith in you, mate. Balance is an important setting that photographers use to ensure accurate color reproduction. Look at the scale and you can see what I'm talking about here. This setting adjusts the color temperature of the camera's sensor to match the light source to the scene. For example, if you're taking photos under fluorescent lights, like kitchen tube lights, you might need to adjust the white balance to avoid a green tint in your images. And in the same way, if you're on like a cloudy day versus a sunny day, there's differences in how they appear, and this can help you to make sure you work that out right. A quick Google search will give you an idea of what I mean, but I wanted to give you an overview of white balance being very important in your photos. So make sure you check that out. It's not something that is a massive issue, but as you do it in automatic mode, you won't notice it, but manual mode is something you want to take sight of. People give a lot of thought to is choosing the right lens. It is crucial to getting the right photos. Wide angle lenses are great for capturing landscapes and architecture, while telephoto lenses are ideal for sports and wildlife photography. Some lenses have built-in image stabilization, which can help reduce camera shake and produce sharper images. Is it all about the lens though? You can use a kit lens and get really great images, so I reckon don't get bogged down. Use what you've got. You don't have to use it as an excuse that you don't have a great lens. Take some photos, see what works for you, and see what you need to change or adjust to help you with your photography. The world's largest camera is the Great Lick Refractor at the Lick Observatory in Canada. Observatory, can't say that word. It has a lens that is 36 inches in diameter and weighs over 20 tons, while most photographers don't need that lens. Why not? Wait a minute, what's this one? Historic one? I saw a historic one. There's the one there. That you need some serious background blur on that, mate. Smash that up, beautiful. Again, consider what you want to do with your photography and think about how you want your photos to look. It's all kind of subjective to what you're shooting, what you're taking photographs of, so don't let it bog you down. Again, that was a quick look at 7 quick snap ideas of things you can think about when taking photographs. But again, these all come over time, so you won't straight away get the knowledge you need. So help yourself, think about what you're taking photographs of, think about the gear you've got. Do you need a DSLR camera? Not really. Do you need a new camera? Definitely not really. So a lot of people are spending lots of money on cameras. You do not need a new camera. You don't need to get the R8. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars. This is a Canon 5D Mark II. How much is this going for? Let's actually look at prices on this. I want to show you quickly what you can expect to pay. So look at this. There's a Canon 5D Mark II, which is what I've got there. Camera only, £329. So that's about $500 maybe. And that's a good condition. Old camera, yes. However, it still works very well. You can pick up a lens for it and you should be in the region of, depending on your lens, because lens is going to be an important one. Think about lenses more than the camera. Lenses will make it or break it. Again, you'll notice I use like a few different lenses. Hopefully that helps you if you're in this journey of thinking about cameras. I want to say thank you for joining me in this quick episode today. I wanted to keep this a condensed episode just to bring the photography element back into the channel. A lot of people have asked questions around cameras, so I'm starting to do these shorts and making videos for you. So keep an eye out on the shorts feed where you'll see quick snippets of this information I shared with you today. Again, thank you for joining me in this episode. And this episode has been made possible by zulftalks.com, where you can check out all the show resources which are available for you to grab. There'll be a list of everything I talked about today. So if you're watching or listening, take care and I'll see you in the next episode.